India Cabinet approves manufacturing push. India's cabinet has approved a major new policy to develop national manufacturing. The policy aims to create 100 billion jobs in the next 10 years and allows for a series of special new zones to support manufacturing and growth. The target is for manufacturing to account for a quarter of GDP by 2022, creating 100 million new jobs. The government also plans to train the young rural generation so they can take advantage of these jobs. Special economic zones will be set up again following China's model. 7 sites have already been identified. Their development will be led by the private sector. They are described as self-governing townships. Companies using the sites will be offered tax incentives. One of the obstacles for manufacturers in the past has been endless government bureaucracy and red tape. This too will be streamlined. There is no doubt that India desperately needs a more vibrant manufacturing sector to even out its growth and absorb future workers. The test will be how successfully this plan translates from paper to the real world. We'll move on to the business world. Eurozone seeks bailout funds from China. The head of the Eurozone's bailout found its beginning attempts to persuade China to invest a scheme to help rescue member countries facing debt crisis. After meeting Chinese leaders, Klaus Regling said there were no formal negotiations and would be no deal now. It's thought China may pay about 70 billion euros into the fund, which is expected to be boosted to 1 trillion euros. Meanwhile, French President Nicolas Sarkozy said debt-ridden Greece's entry to the Eurozone was a mistake. Greece was not ready when it joined the 2001, he said, adding that it could be rescued thanks to a new deal on the debt crisis. European leaders worked into the early hours of Thursday in Brussels to secure an investments agreement aimed at preventing the crisis from spreading to larger Eurozone economies. The deal triggered a worldwide shares rally. Beijing has made it clear that it will demand strong guarantees on the safety of any contribution it might make. Mr. Regling, who is chief executive of the European Financial Stability Facility, EFSF, said he was not negotiating with China as a potential investor, but holding consultations to decide the terms for raising the money. Don't expect any precise outcome of our talks, he's quoted by AFP news agency. Don't expect any precise outcome of our talks, he said, quoted by AFP news agency. He said China had been a regular buyer of EFSF bonds in the past. Welcome to the world of science. Gene therapy used in a bid to save a man's sight. Researchers in Oxford have treated a man with an advanced gene therapy technique to prevent him from losing sight. It's for the first time that anyone has tried to correct a genetic defect in the light-sensing cells that line the back of the eye. The president of the Academy of Medical Sciences said the widespread use of gene therapy of this treatment will be soon possible. The operation was carried out on a 63-year-old Jonathan Viat, an arbitration lawyer based in Bristol. Mr. Viat was able to see normally until about the age of 19, when he began having problems seeing in the dark. He was told by doctors that his vision would get progressively worse and he would eventually go blind. The gradual deterioration in his vision didn't stop Mr. Viat from qualifying as a barrister. But 10 years ago, he found he was having difficulty reading statements in dimly lit courts. The worst occasion was when I was reading out a statement to the court and I made a mistake. The judge turned to me and snapped, "Can't you read, Mr. Viat?" I then decided it was time to put my wig down and leave advocacy. And in sports! From last strike to Game 7. In the history of baseball, there have been a small collection of World Series games identified solely by the moniker Game 6. The most memorable, perhaps, are the sixth game of 1986 and the 1975 World Series. But after what unfolded in most dramatic fashion late Thursday night, a new Game 6 was added to the list. In a contest that seems destined to take its place as one of the most iconic in the 107-year-old history of the World Series, the St. Louis Cardinals, down in their last strike of the season in two separate innings, fought their way back to defeat the Texas Rangers 10-9 in 11 innings. Not only did the Cardinals face their potential final strike of the season twice, but they also had a rally from two-run deficits twice and the eighth inning winning a classic game in what has developed into a classic World Series. What happened today? Cardinals manager Tony La Russa said, "I think you had to be here to believe it." The local hero David Freese, a 28-year-old third baseman who grew up outside St. Louis as a devoted Cardinals fan, had the two decisive blows. With the Cardinals trailing 7-5 with 2 outs in the ninth inning, he hit a game trying to run triple off Rangers closer Neftali Feliz with 2 strikes against him, then came within the inches of being the final out of Rangers' world-class series victory. And now, before we close today's bulletin of news analysis, let's have a recap of the main points. Protests hit Sidi Bouzid after historic Tunisia poll. Nicolas Sarkozy, Greece should have been denied Euro. Daily aspirin blocks bowel cancer. US flies drones from Ethiopia to fight Somali militants. Afghanistan, Pakistan army denies backing Taliban. Saudi Arabia names Prince Nayef as heir to the throne. And there we end today's bulletin of news analysis. Be with us in the coming weeks too. Thank you.